Happy 2024, everybody. I have a ridiculous shirt on for this occasion, but I wanted to do another one of these tutorials. A lot of people asked me to do another one of these. I wanted to do one that's a little bit more focused on an interior environment and a lot more complex environment. So this is a tutorial primarily to help you if you understand how to put meshes together and how to extrude faces and all this stuff, but you're still struggling with like, how do I make like an environment that's super detailed in Source 2, but you're just not quite there yet. Watch me through this entire process. I know it's kind of long, but if you're serious about mapping, watching me fumble through this will unlock basically like neural pathways in your brain. Don't mean to get all hippy-dippy on you, but it's true. You'll see me run up against problems, how I solve those problems, what my thought process is as someone who's built out a full-scale map, like you can see in the description. Please give it a thumbs up so that it can get 5 stars. And yeah, I think if you go through with this first part and second part of this series, you'll be strong in the force. And to help, I even have this little keyboard tracker. And this is the environment, by the way, that we're going to be recreating. This wine bar that I put together for my map. So yeah, you'll see the keyboard down below when I click it. So if I do something and I forget to call it out, you can always rewind it and see like exactly what I clicked. And yeah, let's get started. I'm gonna put this on my second monitor. And yeah, let's go. So I have this little environment right now, which has a post-processing entity for sort of like, it'll affect the lighting, which is important. It's using the Inferno post-process. Keep map fog and env sky. Not that it'll really matter since this is an interior, but hey, you know, just in case. So yeah, I have a floor and 2 dudes. We only need, well, 1 for me and 1 for you. So let's get started. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna do this. Just gonna bumble my way through it. By the end, you'll see my thought process, me running up against problems, how I go against those problems, how I fix it. You know, it's not always going to be easy, but it's almost always doable. So I'm going to start with the floor, okay? Because you got to have a firm foundation. Now, I know that in the wine bar, in the reference image, as you can see here, I have like these striations in the ground, right? Like there's cuts, different material cuts that'll be in place. For now, I'm just gonna kind of get like a basic size of the room, like sort of how big I think it is just by eyeballing it. And I guess I do have, whoa, the map loaded up here as well in case I need to see how I did something. I mean, this is what it looks like in the end, right? I'm nervous to do this again. Pressing 2 on my keyboard, going to edges, pressing T, which translates it and bring it out a bit. Probably about right there. Then I'm going to, there was a little outlet, sort of like where it jutted out in the back, as you can see here, sort of this back area. So we need the floor to do that. So I'm gonna press G on one of these edges when I have it selected. Press V, which does a little connect, and then I'm gonna press F, which bevels it. And now there's 3 lines. I'm gonna use this little slider over here. I'm gonna bring it down to 0. Press enter, and I'm gonna kind of eyeball it until I'm thinking it's generally correct. I'm gonna Control C, Control V this player over here for scale. Yeah, it needs to be a bit wider, doesn't it? Press shift on these 2 edges, kind of bring it in a little. Yeah, that's about right. So now I'm gonna press T on this, hold down shift, and bring it out. Whoa, it's all coming together, baby. End of the tutorial. So now we have like a general floor layout. What I actually am gonna do is I'm gonna take this edge, hold down shift, select all of them, hold down shift, and then drag it out. So I have kind of like this back area where we are over here, where I'm highlighting. And we're gonna start doing some more cuts into the floor, okay? So I'm gonna select one of these edges with 2 on my keyboard, selects as edges, or I can just click it up here. I'm gonna select this edge, press G, and then V. Nice and fast. Okay, I'm gonna bring that in. That'll be like one of our cuts. I'm gonna press G, press V, bring it in. And what we're doing is we're doing some cross-hatching, right? We're getting ready for some of the material edits that'll be taking place. Now, I'm not pressing G and V and doing it here because it'll cut all the way through to that one. So I'm skipping that one, pressing G, V. And about like that. And then same again, G, V. Perfect. Now we go horizontally or lengthwise or widthwise. Press G, selects the entire ring. And then boom, V, which makes a little line cut. And we're gonna do this again, G, except for this time I'm gonna press F to save time, which does like, bevels it, so now I don't have to do that again. Yeah, something like that. I'm gonna drag it around until it's on grid. By the way, I have my grid size 16 down here in the bottom right. And over here, press G, press V, and boom, that'll be kind of like our corner, or our outer ring texture once we hit that point. Okay, yeah, that's good, that's good. Okay, now I'm gonna bring up this wall and land this one. So I'm gonna select these 2. Now, where I'm at currently is I'm like over here in this bottom, or this left corner, okay? And then we're gonna create this sort of like window hole, or like alcove, I guess would be the word. So let's begin the process of doing that. So I'm gonna hold down shift on that edge that I had selected and bring it up. About yay high, right? Maybe a little lower. Something like that. Then I'm gonna hold down shift, bring it up a bit more. And that'll be fine for now. We'll see how that ends up looking. Feel like this area is a little bigger than in the reference image. It's okay, it's gonna be a little bit different, obviously. Not gonna be exactly the same. So holding down shift on that edge, bringing it out. And hold down shift again. About right there. You know what, let's just do the whole wall. I'm just gonna bring it all the way out. And hold down shift, bring it in, so now it's touching right there. Hold down shift, bing bing, bing bong, boom bong, done. Epic. Okay, let's bring the floor in. Ooh, didn't realize. Interesting. So I have the walls. It's not fully even. Let me press 3 on my keyboard, go to faces. I'm gonna delete this, go back to edges. I'm gonna bring it in a little bit so that it's flush with the correct line. Bing bong. Bring that in, so now we are good. Now, actually, I was gonna do something, but I'm not gonna do what I was about to do. So you can see the beginnings of it, right? I mean, that wall is a little bit bigger than my reference. As you can see, it's kind of a shorter wall over there. In fact, this whole thing is a little bit bigger. Okay, well let's bring it in. Let me show you what it looks like at this stage to bring in the geometry and rescale it, because maybe you made a mistake and like I just did and made it too big and you want to rescale it. But if you were to just grab this edge and try and bring it in, the geometry is going to get jacked. You're like, how do I fix this, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to select all these outer edges. all those like that. I'm gonna press shift on this one and then hold down shift all the way there so it selects the whole line. Hold down shift, make sure all these edges are selected. Now it's a bit annoying to do that, but now once I have these all selected, I should be able to bring it in without messing up, without all these edges like overlapping, right? So that seems to be a bit more proper. This whole thing is a little wide too. I'm not necessarily thrilled on this area. It's just a little too big. So we're gonna scale it in a bit. We're gonna do kind of the same thing here. Hold down all these edges. There may be a faster way to go about doing this, but I don't know of the faster way. But this is kind of a good thing to watch in case you get in deep on some geometry and you need to fix it or adjust it, and you're like, how do I do that? So this is actually kind of good to watch. So now that I have all those edges selected, I'm bringing it in, sort of like that. Yeah, okay, that looks about right. Cool. Very good. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna select this edge, hold down shift, select this edge, and press B, bridges it. So now we have a floor, which is an easy way to do it. Yeah, you can do it by just selecting an edge and holding shift and doing it like that, but that's another way to do it. Just press B, done. This is gonna be a long video. Okay, so let's continue with the wall. Hold down shift, bring it in, touch that edge. Boom, boom. I guess I'll keep moving the geometry by using this. Oh, it's not on grid. Bring it back and scale this floor so it is. Hold down shift. This is the fun part of the video. Truly, I mean, you ain't never gonna get more excited than this. So I just had to scale my grid down to 8 by pressing this button. So now it's at 8. And I'm gonna do this. Bring it in. Hold down shift, bring it in. Hold down shift, bring it in. Shift, bring it in. And yeah, this one's not quite on grid either because of my weird scaling stuff. So I'm scaling the grid down. There we go, back up to 8. All right, hallelujah. Would you look at this? We have the beginning. Okay, so now it's gray boxed, right? It's block mapped. I'm not doing the ceiling yet. Don't get it twisted, as Obama would say. Don't get it twisted, or however he'd say it. I usually kind of, in Source 2, I work from the ground up. So I don't know why, but that makes it a little easier for me. So I'm gonna leave the roof wide open for now and focus on these interior details, and then I'll add the ceiling and stuff. So what I'm gonna do right now is I am going to hold or press 3, which selects faces, and I'm going to, god damn it, I'm gonna select every, yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna select, double click the whole thing, and then deselect these walls. Basically, I'm just trying to get a selection of the floor here. And I'm gonna press Alt N, which separates it as its own mesh. So if I press 5 and I go to Objects, and I select the wall is its own thing. The floor is its own thing, okay? That's gonna be important because now I'm gonna start doing stuff to the wall, and I don't wanna have to, you know, crosshatch. If anytime I make a new line in a wall, I don't want it to have to do it and reflect it in the floor to not make it an n-gon, essentially, okay? So it's an optimization thing. It's just to kind of keep it clean. Let's start throwing textures in, okay? Okay, because now, in theory, we're past the block map stage where you've done testing. And to be clear, this environment isn't for players. This is actually cordoned off in my map. This is just cool background detail. But yeah, at a block map stage, you tested, blah, blah, blah. Now we're ready to start detailing. So I'm gonna go into the material texture. Let's find tile. Bear with me here. Let's select a tile. And you know what? Instead of just me browsing, I'm going to go into the map, hold down shift, right click on whatever texture I used. So this one, it looks like it was Inferno Tile Wall 01. Control tab, I'm going back over, and I'm just gonna select this line, press shift T, right? This line, shift T. And this line, let's shift T. Okay, let's check it. Yeah. Okay. And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We actually had more striations than this. So the center one kind of has this weird brownish tile, which I'm going to grab from the actual map. Which looks like it's Mirage Marble. So I'm going to apply that right here. And then I kind of had these lanes which have the marble, which is a custom texture, as a heads up. I pulled it from dev. What was it? It's ambient CG. So this is the one. So I think I just kind of found it. I'm not going to do that for this tutorial. Show you how to add a material. There's plenty of tutorials out there for it. But I will apply it. So I'm going to select this edge, press G, press V, and we're going to do the area where we have the marble. So I'm going to press F on this line to make a double. So we have a trim area. And I'm going to select these. I'm going to go down to browse, marble, which I should have. Yep, Roja marble, boom. Okay, now it's a little big because the way it's scaled is a little different from online. So I'm going to go up here to scale in the top left and 0.08. Just kind of shrink it down to a bit more reasonable size there. And that works for now. I'll have to double check as we move forward. Let's do the same thing over here. Well, yeah. Same thing over here. Make sure we bring it in until it's about 16, just like these other cuts. And shift T, scale in the top left, 0.08. 0.08. Lovely. Holy mackerel, it's coming together, baby. I'm gonna hold down shift, right click on this tile here. Select this trim here. Shift T. Uh-oh. It's not on grid. So I'm gonna go into the shift in the top left where it has the X. And I'm just gonna move it up. I'm gonna hold it down until it's aligned. Great. And I guess I'll just apply this tile texture to this back area. Oh great, it's not aligned. I'll align it in a bit. Question is, did I have the crosshatch texture here? Doesn't look like it cuts through the middle. Okay. So yeah, that's the floor. Let me just hold down shift, right click on this marble. Apply it here. Hold down shift, right click on this tile. Let's get the rest of these trims textured correctly. And then the reason I'm doing this is because I can sort of start building off the texture, right? We'll be able to, it just, you know, we got to start texturing at some point here. And now is the time. So I'm going to go ahead now and texture the walls. And it looks like I was using some sort of wood. So I'm going to do wood. And I'm going to look for sort of, was it a custom wood that I did? Let me do Roja. Ah, shit. Is it? Let me check the actual map. Maybe it is not. No, it does look like this is just a default texture. So it looks like it's wood planks clean. So, okay. I am going to hold down shift, select these. Make sure I got it all lined up, boom. And yeah, we're looking for this sort of vertical wood look, which is a bit strange, but for the map that I was making, it's a wine bar set in New Mexico, so it works. And then we also had some brick. So I notice here that I have a trim, which I don't have over here, so I'm going to press GV and make sure it's the same. So 12 is what we're looking for. Perfect. Okay. Now, I'm realizing that this area is actually closed off in the reference image. So it's like there's it's part of the wall, right? The first portion of the wall. So a couple ways I can do this. To make this simple, I'm just going to press this face with 3 and then hold down shift, select this one and press B. Okay, that didn't work. We're going to have to do this a different way. I'm going to delete these faces. So now we have just this. I'm going to select both these edges, press B. Lovely. And then I'm going to select both these edges and press B. Boom. And it appears that that texture is brick in the reference. Trust me, by the end of this, you guys are going to be real professionals. Let me try this. No, that's not the brick. Where's the brick? They're really going to make me go back to the map to find it. DE Inferno Stone. So it's this one. Inferno Stone. Inferno has a lot of fantastic textures to work with. Yeah, it's one of these. Cool. So I'm going to hold down shift on all these surfaces and press shift T. Now it looks like it's rotated funny, so I'm going to press over here on the left. I'm circling with my mouse. I'm going to press this align button. And now we can start. I'm going to try and detail up this alcove real quick, but you can see it starting to come together, right? Like the beginnings of it. This is the part where I realized this is going to have to be a series. So this first episode, I'm sure we'll just kind of get the most basic geometry and detail done up to a point, and then the next episode will probably be like lighting, the ceiling, and a bunch of other crap. So any whoosies, you know, is what it is. Let's move on. I'm just trying to get my reference image pulled up in a way that works. Okay, whatever. Let's keep working on this window. So, let's add the windows. So, a couple ways we can do this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to, with the edges tool selected, select one of these, press G, press V, bring one line in, press F, just so I can get another one. Select all those lines, bring this in. Something like that. Seems about right. Let's do the same thing. G, V, F. G, V, F. Oh, I gotta make sure we have all the edges selected when we're making the lines. Something like that. Now I'm gonna press or select one of these vertical edges, press G. Oh my goodness gracious. It's selecting all of them. Wonder if this alcove should be its own mesh, because otherwise it's going to start getting wild. I'm going to do that. So holding or pressing 3 and then selecting all these faces. I hope I'm doing this right. You never know. I'm going to press Alt N. Okay, make it its own mesh. Now, before I go any further, I'm going to select this edge, press G, press V, and bring it in so we have a trim here. It's always kind of good to add these little trims at the beginnings of geometry, because it gives you opportunities to make like a frame, right? Like in the image, you can see there's a frame here, right? In the real world, and I notice this a lot with mappers who are just getting started, they don't really understand separation of texture or geometry. They'll just kind of extend a similar texture or a similar wall almost, you know, ad nauseum, and it just ends up looking super noobish. So you should really be conscious of frames and texture separation if you want stuff to look kind of like professional, right? There's a lot of it in this area, and that's the reason, or one of the big reasons, that it looks so good. So I'm kind of doing a preemptive one here. And I'm also going to, on this separate mesh, by pressing 2 on this edge, press G, press, okay, press V. I guess we're going all the way around, and we're going to bring it in a little bit so you can see that there's the beginning of a potential frame right there, right? So good, we have separation, and I'm seeing that this is not aligned for whatever reason. So I'm shrinking the grid size down to 2, and I'm, whoa. Am I tripping? Yeah, it's like slightly off. So I'm in vertices mode here in the top left. And I'm gonna move these. Okay, now it's aligned. That was weird. A good thing we caught that. Okay, let's continue with the window. So I'm gonna press 2, click this, G, V. And I'm gonna bring in this character for scale just to make sure that the window's at like an appropriate height. Have edges selected, put it about right there. Press G again. And that'll be the window. Okay, so you can see the holes right here. I'm pressing faces where the window will be. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to edges, select it, and I'm going to bring it out a little bit more, because when I scale, what I'm about to do is going to make the window smaller than I think. So I kind of want the outline to be a little bit bigger, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the frame. So I'm going to select one of these surfaces with faces, I'm going to press E, hold down Shift on this center, and bring it in. So boom, right there we got a frame. You see that? Hold down Shift, boom, got a frame. I'm gonna go to edges, kind of, whoa. I'm gonna shrink my grid size down to 2. And I'm just gonna make sure that all these are on grid, because sometimes when you do this kind of scaling stuff, it's not gonna be perfectly on grid. So I'm just gonna manipulate them until they're at a reasonable point where I'm happy. And you don't wanna make me angry, do you, grid? So I'm going to scale my grid size back up to 8. Hold down Shift, select both these faces, hold down Shift again. It's kind of a thick window, fuck it, whatever. And delete. Okay, so I'm going to find a concrete texture. Concrete. Let's see how this looks. It's odd, a little bit. The frame is a little thick. I don't know if I like it that thick. I'm gonna shrink the grid size down to 4 or 2. Yeah, I'm gonna make it thinner. I don't like when things are too thick. It just looks noobish, and we are trying to avoid that. Shift T, and I'm gonna scale it in. All these. I could do this with the scale tool, but I'm not gonna, because I'm in charge. Okay, windows are a little bit big, but whatever. I'm gonna go to the entity tool, and I'm gonna look for a prop static, and I'm gonna look at a window while we're at this stage before I go any further, because sometimes the actual models can be bigger or thinner, and you want to kind of get ahead of the curve early before you get too far, so you don't have to mess around with your geometry too much. So I'm gonna try and find a window here that makes sense. I like these ones with the curtains. These Italy windows are really cool. Okay, let's see what happens if I scale this window to fit where the frame. Could look weird. That looks a little odd. For now, it's fine. I'm gonna bring it in. It's okay. We'll fix it in post. We'll fix it a little bit later. It's not the biggest fish to fry right now. Okay, let's texture. Let's texture wood. I believe this bare wood trim blend is what I was using here. So I'm gonna press 3. Now since this is a trim, what I can do is press Alt-H, and that hot spots it, right? So if I just hit Shift-T on this, it looks all weird, but if I select this whole line, press Alt-H, it applies the material all the way across and makes it look natural, I guess I could say. So I'm gonna do it again, Alt-H, Alt-H, and then this is where things get a little wild. So in the master, I have this material. So this is a custom material, right? It's red metal. Let me see if there's anything of equivalent in the base game. I should just use something that's equivalent. So it might not be red, but let's find a metal that works. Yeah, I really want to use that Rohi red. It just kind of gives it like a really cool pop, one could say. Let me just try this vertigo shit real quick. I don't know if I like that. Looks strange. There's definitely benefits to doing custom textures for sure. You know, it's as good as we're gonna get without doing it custom, probably. So I guess it'll be blue. We're gonna go for blue. Is there really no other colored metal in this game? I don't want you in the comments to yell at me about this. Yeah, that's strange. There's only corrugated metal. Okay. Well, hey, you know. Looks a little odd. We'll make it look good. For now, it does the job. So I'm going to just make sure it extends all the way. Like that. Okay. Over time, you'll see this will start looking cooler. Let's keep going. So let's add a trim here. So I'm going to press G on and select the whole ring. Press V. Make sure that there's a little bit of separation here. Whoa. All right, there. 8, 8. Cool. And we're going to add the brick. So I'm going to hold down Shift, right click on that. Boom, boom, boom. And then we'll do it to this side. Boom, 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 boom. Lovely. Okay. Now I'm going to hold down Shift, right click on this. Alt-H. Boom. Hold down Shift, right click on that. So I get the brick texture applied. Shift-T. Boom. And we'll do it here. Shift-T. Okay, lovely. I wonder, beneath the window, what did I have? Oh, I kind of have this stone wall. That's probably something I should start getting set up here. Okay. So you can see here in the master that I have this kind of stone, then another one, and then the brick, right? So I'm gonna go back to the one we're working on. Press G, V. About right there. Press F to bevel it. Whoa. Let's scale it in. Now the trim was really small. I think it was 2. So it's gonna look something like that. Okay. Ooh. Add the brick. Okay, and so I'm gonna grab whatever the texture was from here, which appears to be D Inferno Tile. So you can see it here, Inferno Tile. That one, boom. And Shift T. And then for this little trim right here, I'm gonna look for concrete. What is this one? Curb. Do this concrete trim 10. And press Alt H. Well, that's not good. Shift T. Interesting. I'm gonna rotate it 90 degrees. Okay. That looks alright. I'm also gonna texture this while I'm at it. Let's look up trim. Trim is great because we can hotspot, make it nice and quick. So, concrete trim. I'm gonna select this whole thing. Alt H. Bruh. Okay, I guess this trim doesn't work for some reason. Some trims are like hotspot and some are not. It's strange. Let's try and find one that works. Let's do this one. I know this one works. Yeah, Alt H. See that? Boom. And I'm doing it to this whole thing. Let's do the inside of it too. Shift T. Oh wait, no, Alt H. Sorry. There we go. There. Now we have some separation. Now I don't like how this looks in its current state. Do I do it now or do I wait? Let's wait because technically I do it with prop models actually. Because you see how like weird it looks right now? It's just like everything's kind of like, bleh. We'll end up fixing that in a little bit, but yeah, for now it'll be fine. Press G, V, give it a little trim. Right click, get this trim. Rotate it 90 degrees, boom. Okay. Whew, this is gonna be a while. Forgot how much work went into this wine bar. It's crazy. And this is already, I can tell it's a little too big. That's okay. Alright, let's keep going. By the time you guys get to the end of this video, you guys will be pros if you actually make it. So I'm gonna press 3 faces, right click, holding shift to get this material. Apply it there. Hold down shift, right click on this to apply it here. Select all this, Alt H. Boom. Okay. Very good. Now we also had 2 windows over here. So I'm gonna select this edge, G, V, and make my grid size 8. Let's see, something like, let's throw a line there, GV, line there, GV, line there, GV. Something like that, maybe. GV. Oh, brother. We're really getting into the sauce over here. This is... I wonder if I should just make this wall its own mesh. Do I do it? Unless I can get it so... Let me see. I'm going to make this its own mesh. So I'm going to press 3, go to Faces tool. I'm going to select all these faces, press Alt-N, so that I don't, you know, cause a crazy situation where the lines are going through the entire thing. I'm going to bring it down till here, which looks like it was 38 units high. About right there. And, you know, I'm going to press F. And I can decrease the width here by doing like this. Press enter. Let's just double click this edge, bring it up, make sure it's on grid. Bring the grid size down to 2 since we're working at sort of like a microscopic scale here. It is microscopic. And Okay, now we have a spot where we can put a window. Let's what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to the scale tool. You can do that by pressing E and hold down shift. So we're like, well, actually, you know what, I'm gonna control Z that. I'm gonna add another line. So GV. Otherwise it's just it'll scale funny. Let's get a window model in place first. Dredile window. It's always good to work around the models. Like I said, you can set something up and then realize it just doesn't work. Do this one. Control X, Control V. Okay, so yeah, you can see it's a little too big, but if we shrink it a little bit, yeah, we should be able to work with this. I'm gonna select this edge, bring it up, and then I'm gonna do what I did, so press E and then hold down shift, kind of bring it in so we have like a little bit of a frame here. Let's move it into the wall, kind of manipulate your grid size, so I'm down at 2. 1. We're going to all the way to 1. And you can see it's a little big, but that's okay. We're going to scale it. Press T and drag it in. I'm going to bring my grid size back up to 4. I'm going to select this face, hold down shift, bring it in. Perfect. I'm gonna hold down shift, right click, get this trim texture. Do all these stupid faces, Alt H. Okay. That works. So now, you know, one thing we could do is just copy this over so we don't have to do it again. But fuck it, we'll do it live. Whoa. Okay. E, bring it in. Something like that. Hold down. Oh, let's fucking get it in there. Oh, I just realized it's not tile. Hold down Shift S, then scale it. So now it should be actually a little too much. There we go. Changing the grid size. Gotta make sure it's flush. Okay, I'm gonna hold down Shift, bring it in. Shift S to scale this. All right, hold on Shift, right click with Faces tool. Let's select all these. Alt H. Okay. Lovely. And I guess we should carry this design over. So I'm gonna select these faces, go like that. Get this little concrete. Shift T, 90. Okay. There we go. I'm also going to get this trim. We're going to throw this trim all around this. Alt H. Whew. Okay. Man, this is this takes a minute, doesn't it? It's amazing that I just did this, you know, without any idea of what I was doing at one point. Sometimes you just gotta like dive in and just force it to happen, you know. But you can see we have the beginnings. Let's carry over this wood. Something like that. And the bricks. Boom. And the trim. Alt-H. Boom. Okay. It looks like there's a door right there, which we'll do in a minute. We need to add some trim here. So GV. Ooh, grid size. Let's bring it up to 8. GV. Do the bricks. Cool. And we'll do the brick here to sort of make this kind of corner look like a brick column of sorts. And we'll do the door. Door frame. Let's find a good door frame. You guys like door frames, right? There's a big ass door. Let's find a door model so we can fit the door frame. It never ends, I mean, truly. Fucking doorception. Break door. R to rotate. And let's bring it in, make sure it fits in this stupid ass frame. It kind of does. Okay. Now we bring it into the wall so it's flush. God almighty. It's gonna be the death of me, I swear. Okay. Grid size 8. G, V. Grid size 4. Grid size 2. Make sure it's in line with the frame. Great. Oh. G, V. It looks like we have another cut that'll be going forever and ever, because we need one at the top of the door frame. Bring it down. Okay. So now grid size 8, and I'm gonna hold down shift, bring it in. Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, objects 5, shift S. Grid size 2. 2. Okay, now the door. Oh, fuck. Okay. Is that good? That's good. Okay. And I guess we should bring this tile in. Shift T. Shift T. Holy Lord. Okay. Wow. It doesn't look like we've done much, but like we kind of have. You know? These things, they take time. Okay? Rome wasn't built in a day, for all you people. And, blah, blah, blah. I guess we should add the arch. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. I almost just gave up on this tutorial, but we're in this far, and we're actually a lot closer than I think. You know, it's just, there's a lot to it, and this is kind of the grunt part, but if we can get through this grunt part, smooth sailing. So, edges, G, V, T, and we bring it in. Change the grid size to 8. Yeah. And we're gonna get the brick. And we're gonna add it, Shift T. And we're gonna add that brick there too. Texture alignment's not fully correct. That's okay. You can fix that if you so wish, which you should, like I did for my full release, but I'm not gonna do that right now. So let's make the arch, okay? Now, arches. Fun stuff. Intimidating if you don't know what you're doing. So, let me get comfy, because we're about to enter arch time. So, I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to press Alt-N, make this its own mesh. Why? because it's about to get hairy. I'm going to add some trims here, give us some space, because we don't want the arch to be that big. About right there is like what we were kind of looking for. So I'm going to press 2, I'm going to highlight that edge, I'm going to press Y, okay? And this will bring up the arch tool. So on the left, I'm going to bring up the arch height. Oh my god, there's a dog going crazy downstairs. That looks about like what the reference is. In case you forget, that's about what we're looking for. And I'm going to press enter. Brilliant. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight both these edges, hold down shift. Bring it up to about right there. Hold down shift again. Then I'm going to select both these edges and press B. Perfect. Now, the reason I did that is because we need to fill in this hole. Very tricky to fill in the hole of an arch. Arches are very particular geometries, as I'm about to show you. So, giving it a framework to fill in is important. So I'm going to double click this entire edged loop and press P, which fills in the hole. Now, we are not finished. I see a lot of mappers who just end it there. You know, they would just take it, go like this, boom. We ain't done yet because we're professionals. Okay, we need to make sure, because I mean, this is a big fat end-gon right here. It's touching so many sides that make your head spin. So we need to make sure we do this right. So the way we do that is I'm going to go into the vertices tool, and I'm going to select this vertice, and I'm going to hold down shift to select that vertice and press V. And I'm going to do the same thing, shift V, and we're going to connect them all to this corner on this side. Shift V, shift V, shift V. And then once we reach the middle point, we do it to this corner. Shift V, shift V, shift V, shift V, shift V, shift V. Uh-oh, what have I done? Jesus. Shift V, shift V. Now, what we do, well, now we don't have an end-gon. It's amazing. We fixed it. So now the engine's happy. Got to do that for pretty much every arch rounded thing that you make in some way or capacity, you know. Otherwise, the engine ain't happy, no one's happy, and I'll kill ya. So, okay, I'm gonna press T, I'm gonna bring in the arch, about right there. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press E, and we're gonna bring in the arch a little like that, okay. Then I'm going to press T and I'm going to bring in the arch one more time, except for that's a little too far. So I'm going to reduce this grid size down to 2, do about right there. See, we got a little trim there, so we can make it not look uggo. Okay, I know you people out there, you want to make it uggo. I ain't letting it happen. So let's add the brick. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to press align. I don't know why all these things are off alignment, but we're going to hold down shift on all these surfaces, shift T, and we're going to press align, okay? Make sure it's aligned or I'll kill ya. There's a lot, I don't know why I'm starting to threaten everybody, but you're going to have to get used to it. Let's right click, let's add the floor here. And then for this frame, let me see how I did it in the master. It looks like I had a little trim here. Interesting. And a trim there. Don't know why. Okay. And we had the trim going all the way through it. So it looked like it was just some wood. So I'll go back. And it's Italy wood floor blend. Yeah. Let's put the floor texture on an arch wooden ridge. Now I'm not going to sit here and align the texture. Okay. well, I could. There's a couple ways to do that. I know I'm doing a tutorial, so I probably should. But God, I probably should, right? Wood. Maybe there's a seamless wood. Let's try the hotspot wood. Let's try selecting every fucking surface, holding shift. Deselect that one, control, and let's press Alt H. Okay, there we go. It's aligned. See that? You just got to make sure you're using a hotspot one. Good. Okay, I did the right thing. Yeah, now we got our arch. I'm gonna press G on all these, press V, and give it a trim just in case. I don't think it's necessary, but you never know. If I come back to it and I want to, we good. Actually, let me try and add a soft normal. Well, I don't think that's gonna fly. How did I do the soft normal here? Well, let's try it. I'm gonna select every single one of these on the ring and hit soft normals over here on the left. It looks like it worked. So now it looks soft. You see that? Kind of hard to tell, but yeah, it looks like that worked. Cool. Now it looks more natural. Delicious. All right. So now we got to add our trim. I should really, actually I'm going to control Z. I'm going to do it over here first. It's got to be like this. So it's 38 units high. F my life. And double click again, bring it up one. 38, perfect. And that's this little concrete trim right here. Make sure it's rotated 90. Perfect. Grab this texture and we'll throw it down. We're throwing it down. Shift T, I guess I should press a line. And I should probably just do this all at once. The texture alignment. For now, it's just going to kind of cut off strangely. That's okay. Let me go back over here. Interesting. So it looks like I'm actually using the marble over here. Okay, so we're going to grab this marble and we're going to throw it down. We're going to have to scale it to 0.08. Lovely. And now we replicate it with the arch. So I'm going to use these edges, press G. Sometimes it doesn't select, so like I was over here, I was pressing G and it only selected this half. I'm going to go over here, press G, and now it selects the other half, V. 37.58. Why? I know why. It's because of the different heights. You can see how it's off a little, right? So I'm gonna grab this edge, bring it up. Now I'm gonna go up one, press the vertice, bring it up, and just make sure it's at the perfect height. I'm in full like goblin mapping mode. This is like how I made Mission, was in this position. I'm gonna have back problems in my life. Okay, bring it up, 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 up. Yeah, okay, so now we're good. If I press F, boink, double click this top line, delicious. And the bottom line, boom. See that? So now I'm gonna go to Faces tool, right click on this material, and we're gonna boink boink, but ignore the wood. The wood overlaps, Shift T. Rotate it 90. Oh. 90. 90, you pig. It didn't rotate for some reason. Okay, whatever. Cool, and then we bring the marble in here. And 0.08 on our scale. Cool. All right. All right. I'm trying to think of like if this is a good spot to end the first part. Let me throw the brick over here. There's that. There's that. Okay. I mean, we have the basics here. A lot of what's in the reference is models and stuff. Like, I mean, obviously the ceiling and then this counter we haven't done. Oh, good lord. Should we do the counter? The counter is kind of complicated. Okay. I'm going to try and throw this counter down and see what happens. I'm not going to do a ton of callouts for it just because you can watch my keyboard and it'll take me all day. So I'm going to try and make this counter. I don't know what materials I made it out of. Okay, it looks like concrete wall. All right, let's do it. How would I do this? Oh my god. And gone. Just realized I had two n-gons here. You know what? I'm just gonna copy this. One day you could learn to do this, but not for this tutorial, okay? And I guess I didn't even do it right anyways, because I made an n-gon, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna copy it. What I will say about the counter, let me just align it, is, if I remember correctly, I started with just like one edge, or like one flat surface, right? So like right here. And I kind of like brought it up, brought it out, did like this panel, and then did this as its own mesh as well, and then this is its own mesh, and then made sure everything was lined up and combined the meshes. So again, I won't do that for this tutorial since we're already in so far, but it's not hard. I mean, this is just the arch tool, and then beveling some of these edges, but it will just take me a while. So, and there's a lot of n-gons here, and I didn't realize that the bottom's not textured. It went out and released like that. That's great. Okay, whatever. So I think that's pretty much the basics here. Let me see if there's anything else before this first part is over. Let me Alt-H. Alt-H. I think this frame does extend. So I'm gonna hold down Shift on these surfaces. And I'm gonna bring it out just a touch. Give it a little depth, and then we Alt-H with the trim texture around the edges. Okay. What else? Anything else before we call it here? Because the rest of this extraneous detail and stuff is going to be coming in once we start doing models and lighting, and the ceiling is kind of going to be its own animal. So we have the first part here. It doesn't look like much, but what we've just done here is kind of the biggest piece of the puzzle. A lot of this small background sort of like detail like this Oh, let me realign the texture here. A lot of this detail here is without it, without these little tiny cuts, without these little lines, it would look like shit by the time we start lighting it anyways. It's like building your house on sand. If you don't have this kind of brushwork or edge work in place by the time you get to lighting and models and stuff, yeah, you can put a little bit of lipstick on the pig, but it's gonna fall apart under scrutiny. So this is a bit time consuming, but completely necessary. So this was part 1 of making the wine bar. By the end of part 2, I think we'll be done, because essentially we're gonna make the ceiling and then we're going to add the models and the lighting. And at that point, boom, this will be like completely different. So click the next part. Hopefully it'll be a little bit faster, I think. I mean, I don't know. Actually, maybe not. But by the end of this, I think you'll be incredibly powerful. Face cam. So yeah, check out Mission in the description. Please give it a rating, and I appreciate it very much. I'll see you guys in part 2.